Welcome to the Dingus Den for a brand new review where we're with more of the Energon universe, this time discussing G.I. Joe Volume 1, The Cobra Strikes. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Dingus Den.
All right. Welcome back into the Dingus Den, Warren, where we are continuing our Energon universe journey, which this time, G.I. Joe. I'm excited to delve into this one. This is a good one.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I especially liked Baroness.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things in this one, and the last couple GI Joe specific ones that we did, Destro and Scarlet. Don't get me wrong; those were good, but reading this made me realize how much I really enjoyed Joshua Williamson on it.
Yes.
And I'm just like, oh, this is back to some great goodness stuff where he's making me a GI Joe fan. And so I still haven't yet gone back to actually watch any of the cartoon, or I mainly just want to go back and watch that movie like we were talking about in our Cobra Commander episode. But he is making me a GI Joe fan, and he's been doing we'll get to this, but I think he makes the good effort, and if you don't know GI Joe, you still really enjoy what's going on in this. And so I do applaud the good effort there or I think good job done with actually making it a good place for new people to jump into.
Yeah, and it's definitely there's high stakes. Like we'll get into it in the first part of the volume 1, but they don't play around with the stakes on it. They take it very mature and seriously, just like they did with Transformers too. Maybe not as good as Transformers, but it was still good though. Like this is a good volume 1 for GI Joe launching point.
Yeah, it definitely gets me excited to read more. I think it was a really good volume 1, and yeah, you know what? Let's just delve into it since a bunch of goodness with this. This first volume collects the first 6 issues of the run. I gotta say, just like the Transformer stuff and the other volumes, this one flowed really well. And with it being 6 issues, I could only tell the end place for where half of the issues were when reading this. And the other half, I struggled to tell like when exactly some issues like ended and whatnot. And so like the story flowed overall really well. A really quick, fun read, just like all the other GI Joe stuff. Like I'd say the same, especially with like Duke. It very much had the closest vibe I'd say to Duke compared to all the other stuff that we've read so far.
Yeah,
and so Joshua Williamson keeping up with the action, but this time we got a lot more people here, as we can see our main cast here specifically in this first in this cover specifically. So yeah, so volume 1, Cobra Strikes. It begins with seeing the sort of training mission. We get our introduction of St. Duke again. I mean, we already know who Duke is, but what I like what they do though here, and this is one of the things I say of where Joshua Williamson does a great job of making this more accessible to new readers, is they introduce all the characters here. Which is nice. I mean, like, oh, okay, so that's who this person is. That's cool. And so I really like that. And we got a good introduction to exactly who all these characters were. As I mean, obviously we have Duke, but Rock and Roll, Stalker, as Cover Girl, Clutch, and as you said, Baroness. And so it makes for a solid cast. And we see how they struggle to work together, especially here when Baroness has a problem with like her jetpack, and then Duke's trying to help her, and she's like, "What are you doing? You're screwing up everything." And Duke's like, "I'm just trying to help you." And so anyway, we see that the team's having, problems with each other and whatnot. And then on the flip side, we get to see picking up from the pages of Destro was what's going on over there. In Springfield, USA.
And it's a much different, and this goes through the whole book. Like the GI Joes are really trying to find themselves, and they're really outmanned, outgunned, out-teched in this whole first volume. But at their core, they're better soldiers all the way around. So it's an interesting dichotomy between the two.
It really is. And I think the book does a good job of balancing both sides of it too, which I like too, of not it just being 90% of the good guys and you barely see what's going on with the bad guys, except for when it affects them, And so I appreciated those aspects as well, with how it all goes together, and especially like I just love so much of what we got with Cobra Commander, and I was gushing like the whole time over that Cobra Commander book when we talked about it because I loved it so much, and getting to see like that Cobra Commander back here was just awesome. And like we got some of him in Destro, but not much, right? Like we just kind of got another little like appetizer with him, and then he's back here again, which is awesome. And so, seeing him, and then like setting up his like hand here as well, which we get to see in action later, is cool. I was quite happy to see Cobra Commander back, as he's just always a scene stealer for me. And also as set up in the Destro book, seeing their relationship between Cobra and Destro, saying as well, but then also seeing Destro, being very hands-on and actually commanding his part as well. As we see throughout here, a lot of good relationships here, and setting up that they have laser weapons, a lot of awesome stuff here.
Yeah,
I really like it. And so we then get our introduction to what's this guy's name?
Risk.
To Risk here, yes. Another character that plays a big part in the overall story. A lot of action. Just like all these G.I. Joe books, want something to do a good job with. This was a good part. One of the parts that stood out to me, where Duke was off on his own here, and the what's his name? Yes, the other
Hawk.
Colonel Hawk. Is it Colonel?
Yeah, I think it's Colonel Hawk. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Colonel Hawk, who I gotta say, he looks so much like Nick Fury here, especially in this panel right here. It looks like he has an eye patch right there with the shadow. and it doesn't help too. Like he comes up on the side where the eye patch had to be there, and you see that white hairline, just like classic Nick Fury would have. Anyway, I can't help but think that when we see that, and then it's obviously no, that's not Nick Fury. It's the guy that we've seen before, Colonel Hawk. And so, but anyway, Duke has this moment of honesty with him, and a lot of times with these higher ups, it's like you see them be a lot of like, I don't care about your problem, just do your job, right? But here he actually has a moment before he gets to that moment of like, oh yeah, for first mission. He actually like has a moment where he opens up with Duke, which I thought was nice. And being like, oh yeah, you're gonna go on your first mission, by the way. When we can clearly see like they're not ready for it because the team was dysfunctional in that training sequence, which is very Danger Room-esque. I don't remember what they called the room here, but it was essentially their version of a Danger Room. So here we get to see here's a little bit of a Transformers connection right there. They get to get a glimpse of. I'm trying to remember. Was this their first main glimpse of Autobots, or did we get a setup at the end of Duke or something? I don't remember. I don't think there was.
I think at the end of Duke there was a shot of Optimus, very similar to what we're seeing here, but I'm not 100% sure. This takes place after the Transformers arc, the one that we just volume 4, because there's already the piece of Cybertron in the ocean.
Well, it would have been, and it makes sense with the timing of this too when it came out, is it would have been after volume 2 because of the Cybertron falling, but I don't think the big battles I don't think happened yet. since they haven't been published yet, like what we covered in volume 4 especially. And so, but yeah, and we do get that universe connectivity here as well, you know, see that big piece of Cybertron that's there, and we see both the sides of they're like, yeah, we need to go get it for ourselves, as you know, who knows what potential that has, and learning that this place is housing an important piece to it, so they need to go get it. And so, well, essentially, GI Joe has to Duke and friends have to go protect the piece, and then Cobra's going to try to go steal it. And so that's what we see right here. And then next thing we know, Cobra attacks, and this is cool too. Of something we don't realize too much of. Like, we obviously know who Cobra is. They don't know who Cobra is.
Yeah, this is their first time with Cobra.
Yeah. And I thought that was cool too, because you got to see like, oh crap, it's they're like, oh wait, who are these guys? Oh crap, they're like, we don't know who they are at all. And it was just like, you know, completely caught them by surprise. And it's such a great way to really show how strong Cobra is in this first big interaction with each other, where they're like, oh crap, you know, guns firing everywhere, explosions everywhere, complete chaos, as Cobra knows exactly what they're doing here as they go in, and we see that these Cobra troopers come in, or more specifically, I think these are the like Destro soldiers here, as they go in and just kick ass, and seeing the heroes struggle there. And as you were talking about, this book has stakes. Like, one of the people just dies here.
Yeah, they kill off a main Joe in the first volume of the series. I'm just like, holy crap! I did not expect this. They killed his ass off too. This is not you know, this he's dead, you know. It kind of shocked me when I first read it. I was like, oh shit, I liked rock and roll.
It is surprising, because if I remember right too, he was like the first one that they introduced in that whole sequence too. So they set him up as like, yeah, he's one of the main guys here. And then
he was one of the ones that was going after Duke when he was on the run in the Duke Volume 1. And he was like one of the first recruits, him and the other dude. And it's just like, what?
I think it was a great use of, I mean, I didn't have the attachment to the character, so I didn't feel like angry or anything about him killing off the character, but I felt like, holy shit, they just like killed him off, you know? It's like, holy cow, the stakes here is real right off the bat.
I like the stakes. I mean, I don't want to see good characters go, but at the same time, though, I like to know the fact that they're ballsy enough to do it, where, you know, they're not going to be like, well, we can't kill anybody. It's like, no, this is some stakes going on here, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's great seeing that and having so much great action and all this stuff. But yeah, absolutely agree. What a great way to show how capable Cobra is as well. Like, there's no better way to introduce an enemy than introducing them killing off somebody that matters. And so it was awesome to see. And as well as we see Duke also just be a badass throughout this whole volume as well. Like, you know, just taking one of their mini attack choppers here, and, you know, great stuff.
Acted straight up like an 80s action hero, just like dives out of the building, gets the helicopter, and flies it into the building and leaps from it. And it's Duke is a madman.
G.I. Joe, or specifically Duke here, but like this book, you know, very much, it knows it came from the 80s, and it goes very much into like, you know, this is like an epic action maybe on, you know, no limits either with the, you know, in the story as well, which is just awesome. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right. It's such an awesome sequence, and seeing Destro and Cobra as they're planning everything, and saying, you know, seeing them all together, and I like this too, where we're seeing through this as well of like any time when it's like they're like Cobra always frames things, even if it's kind of like a lost part of on his end, of like, well, there's a good side to this always too, as we see as well.
Yeah, Cobra's or Cobra Commander's a cup half full kind of guy. Destro's always worried about the details, and Cobra's all like, it's all good, man.
Yeah. And so we get some great stuff like that in this, which I really enjoyed. We'll see. This is the cavalry that arrived here when, clearly the heroes are beaten down. And what's the last thing they needed? Enemy reinforcements. Yeah. And seeing those with those like powerful like Energon weapons are pretty crazy too. And we're seeing, and like we see the heroes make quite a valiant stand as well. But it's pretty rough for them. And they end up losing this first big encounter, which is just so ballsy, and I really appreciate that too. Of like, they don't just come out of the gate and just win. It's like, no, they get their ass beaten in this.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we obviously see that Cobra gets that piece of Cybertron that they're wanting. And Duke is just left there defeated. And yeah, it is rough for him, and so they end up taking the time to heal back up. This guy's name that I already forgot. Risk. There we go. Risk is there. And we see that like Duke doesn't like Risk right offhand, and just showing more of how dysfunctional the team is. And they end up battling it out there.
Which is kind of a funny part too, once we get back to it, because it's essentially just like Hawk's like, yeah, I knew this was gonna happen. Just let him work it out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I do like the like, we know Destro and Cobra don't fully gel with each other, right?
Yeah.
But they still have this really good sense of like, we're partners in this and doing this together. Like, they still have a good sense of teamwork versus the Joes just don't, at least not at the moment. And so it's cool to see. Also, I love this frame up here too with Megatron and Cobra there. That's so cool. Such an awesome frame right up there that I really like. And so, but yeah, I think this is actually more the first kind of part over there. Like, even though we didn't completely defeat the opposition in a way, they're like, well, there's still other, Cobra still was able to learn from it and all that stuff. And yeah, awesome stuff here.
Yeah,
we get to learn of what they're making here is the brainwave scanner, which is really important. As essentially, so they can take control of everybody's minds. To which, I mean, it kind of makes sense of what they're doing it for, but they don't reveal it right away. But it gets to saying of like, oh yeah, it's so we can take over everybody's minds for a Cobra empire, which I'm like, okay, that makes sense, because that's like, what else would you be using that for?
And it was a very, very, very Cobra move. Like, this is very cartoon influenced Cobra move, where
love it.
They're essentially making a brainwashing bomb, which is it's really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Here we got to see one of the Joes ended up infiltrating their units. Somebody that they thought may have died in the battlefield is actually there alive. I don't remember what that one's name is. I'm terrible with everybody's names.
Oh, this is Clutch.
Clutch. Okay.
Yeah.
So Clutch here is quite alive, and is trying to make his way around, and he ends up running into like the main, I don't know, general manager there, and he ends up just getting thrown right into it, where Destro comes in, he's like, that's how you treat your guys? He's like, this is why we're losing, you need to do better,
Yeah.
And so I like the Destro interference there. And then they have this great moment too where Cobra comes in and he's like, there's somebody among us that's learning of our operations. And you're thinking, oh, they know right away that Clutch is there. No, it's a scientist. which we learn and we see that there's something like weird with him. I mean, we as a reader know that he's like part of what Cobra was part of
Yeah,
initially.
he's from that Cobra Shangra Cobra Law or whatever it was, or
yeah, whatever that was called. Yeah. And so it's interesting to see that too. Like, I'm curious to see how this is going to be. Like, obviously, this is a piece that's meant for more of the long-term story of what's getting told. So I'm curious to see how that's going to come back into it all, which will be cool.
And how evil dictator is it that the Cobra Commander just happens to have like a pit in his office full of like rattlesnakes and shit. Like,
oh yeah, get it. Like, these are like gnarly, like robotic snake things. It's like, what the heck? Yeah, it's pretty nuts. But yeah, also perfectly in character with him either. I don't doubt it. And so, and anyway, we go back to I suppose a team building exercise with Duke and Risk, as we just see them. They're going all at it with each other, and they then get interrupted by who else than their wounded friend, which I also can't remember his name. I'm apparently just don't know anybody's names. See, this is why you're here. You're to help with all the names.
this is Stalker.
Stalker here.
Yeah.
I do really like Stalker here, as he just comes in and he's like, you dumbasses, you're supposed to help each other here, and you know, we're a team in this, not supposed to fighting each other. We got a bigger threat that we need to figure out what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then also he's like, excuse me, need to call Rock and Roll's family. And he's like, well, you all get your shit together. Very cool. Yeah. You remind me a lot of when I read this guy's like line stuff, he reminds me of, I can't remember the actor's name, but the Ghostbusters dude. It was like anytime I read him stuff, I think of him.
Oh yeah. Winslow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just specifically that actor in general. I can't remember his name, but yeah. But that was just the vibe of like anytime I was reading his lines, I was like, if this was an actual like 80s movie, that's who I envision in that part.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they start trying to figure out exactly what they know about Cobra. Cobra did this really smart move where they like blew up all the guns at the end of that last encounter, so they couldn't figure out exactly what that technology was. And they were like, yeah, it's a smart move, what we would have done as well. And trying to figure out exactly what they are. And then they get this transmission from the guys that you totally just told me the name of. Clutch. Yeah, sorry. There's a lot of names here, and I'm not good with names. They'd have a tally marker on screen of like, oh, how many times has Spencer forgotten a name here? At least number 4 or 5. Anyway, so they learn that they're attacking Washington D.C. and they need to get this main scientist dude. Where it seems like he's being escorted. Plot twist: his escort turns on him, and the Joes come in for a big rescue, and chaos ensues as once the action picks up, it's big. And so
yeah,
and here we get to actually see the Crimson Twins back, which is cool, and seeing that they're involved in this big action sequence as they're trying to protect the scientist dude. Massive action sequence, a bunch of stuff going on. And it leads to them running into more Cobra troops and realizing, oh shit, we're outnumbered. And it ends in them having to surrender because they're just like, okay, we need to think of something to do. So surrender. And so, and even for like the team beat as well. Oh yeah, here we see what's her name? Stalker back? Is that her name?
Chameleon.
Chameleon. Close. Yeah. Damn it. Totally not. See her back. So that was cool. And yeah, just so much action throughout all this as we go through. This crazy guy.
His name is Ripper.
Ripper, right? Because he wasn't he in the Cobra book?
I think so. I think he was part of that that swamp crew that tortured Cobra, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Cobra made him an offer that he couldn't refuse, and so he's back working with Chameleon. So that's cool. Here we actually get to see them like looking at the body of that Cobra dude, which is interesting. Or Serpent Society sort of person there, whatever they're called, Cobra Law dude.
Yeah.
And we get these second guessings from like the commander and Destro kind of, which is interesting of like, he's not telling us things that's obviously really important here.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, get into it. And the heroes ended up, captured heroes end up arriving, as well as they have their device done as well. And they have the scientists captured as well. Where
Cobra Commander Aura farming right here. Just
right, of course. What else would they be doing, right? Saying they need this new world order here. It's like, yeah, of course. What else are you going to be doing with a, as you're talking about the big bomb, the big brainwash bomb there. So, yeah, things are looking rough for them, and obviously the heroes here are in quite a low predicament as well, where it's like, how could things get any worse for them? As it seems like Cobra has them beaten. And they just beat up Duke. And so they're making sure they're like, hey, you're defeated. And they're like, we can't tear you down, Duke, but we'll tear down your team though. Because they know, even though they know Duke cares for his team.
There's a little interesting play here where Baroness is like, I want to see you try.
Oh yeah.
And it's almost like Destro's like impressed or shocked.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Like, I don't know why that was in there. If Destro's kind of like, oh hey.
Yeah, right.
And then Duke starts laughing maniacally.
Yeah, right. He starts laughing maniacally, and what then happens? We get clutch with the clutch, I guess you could say.
He comes in the clutch.
Clutch is clutch, where the main imposter that they really need to worry about apparently is there. And so when he comes out with his like in this tank with this crazy like laser artillery, it seems like, I don't know, pretty nuts here though. As hell lets loose here. And just seeing all these zaps and literally seeing like soldiers getting obliterated. Like, look at this down here. Insane. So yeah, pretty cool. They're setting up obviously more of the time bomb. There's all this attacks going on, and Cobra is like, oh shit, we better get a move on this plan before we fully break out. And yeah, chaos just absolutely ensues here as we now are in like the official third act of this story.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely insane. The here we actually get the moment too. Yo Joe is, they team up and ready to kick ass here all together, so that's pretty fun. Yeah, it's just so action packed, just like all of them. And I think it does a good job too of like, obviously they focus most on Duke and Cobra since those are the main two leaders of each side, but we do get a good balance with a bunch of the other side characters as well, despite being a crowded book with a lot of cast in it. So yeah, just a lot of great action here. Very quick and fun. And yeah, we see Destro's trying to make his escape, but then Duke leaves as well. And a scientist here with Cobra's like, hey, we need to test this machine. Cobra's like, yeah, great idea. You can test it. Being like, well, if it doesn't work, you die at least because you failed, essentially. And so, and you're like, yeah, it could kill me. He's like, it could, or it could work. So it does raise an interesting. Well, we'll get to it in a moment. Actually, I'll raise that question in a moment. But here we see Duke then come in, and he's being like the first interaction between Cobra and Duke here, and Duke's just there like, "Who the hell are you?" And it's really cool too, because you know, we know how Cobra is really manipulative, and he brings up this interesting parallel between the two of being like, well, maybe we're not that different from each other, you know?
Yeah.
And so cool to see that. And
Always the manipulator too.
always. And he's good at it too. So, but yeah, Duke's like, deactivate this machine, you evil dickhead. And but then turns out, oh, you want to deactivate it? You got to kill the scientist, which we know Duke does not want to do because he's somebody that wants to save everybody. And here we get to see Cobra's epic hand that we saw getting built earlier in action. So fun. Like, so what an awesome action-packed book this is.
Oh yeah.
You know, helicopter fights going on here too, as Baroness is chasing Destro there. Pretty sick. Yeah, definitely sort of having this AB plot here at the end. Balancing out these two big action sequences and then realizing, oh crap, they need to go away because the bomb's going to go off soon, so they're retreating. Cobra and Duke is still going at it. This part in particular, I was like, oh damn. I thought this was the cool thing right here.
He tries to essentially execute Cobra Commander, and it just pings off his mask and hits him in the shoulder.
Yeah, right? It's like, oh shit. What a move right there, and showing how powerful his mask is. Also crazy too to realize too fully remembering Cobra when like they sliced open part of his mask too, and we saw that in the picture. Oh, hold on, I can go back to it here. We saw it here on the side as well, where they make this big cut through his face. You know, it just really shows how powerful his mask is and how impressive it is that they even managed to cut through his helmet there at all. And so, but yeah, they get into it. But yeah, I absolutely love that bullet ping. Like what a turn of events there. And you know, there's this they essentially kind of get into the standstill moment, and then since Cobra's already activated the bomb sequence, Duke brings up the point of like, you know, essentially manipulating Cobra back here, saying, you know, die. And you're saying, can you die knowing you won't get to see it?
Yeah. Essentially all of it, like your whole plan, you won't be able to control anyone, you'll be dead with me kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. And so then that causes Cobra to just shut off the kill the scientist and thus end the sequence. And that's how it ends, as he then almost has Duke beaten there, as he's just like, all right, fine, I'll just end up killing you. But then the Joes come in and help save the day. And this is what I love here too, as you know, Destro here is like, I grow tired of these games, Commander. You are lying. You're hiding something, and I'll rip it all out. And just also getting annoyed of, even though they obviously lost at the end of the day here, he's like, stop framing this as a success. He's like, and setting up to stuff with Decepticons to come later on as well, which is awesome as well. So very cool. And then the book ends with the Joes have regrouped. You know, they came up on top, and Risk goes off on his own on this Jeep, which this is pretty cool. This is a cool way to end it, where he's driving off, and we get the noises, the kikokokaki, only to reveal the Joe Transformer. I don't know of what this one is specifically. Do you know who this one is? Or is this...
No, I don't know the name of this guy. I recognize him, but I don't know the name of him.
Gotcha. Yeah, I recognize seeing him around too, but I can't remember. I don't remember his name either. So, But that's how it ends, is the reveal of there's a Transformers with the Joes now, so that's pretty exciting to see how it all connects together. I'm excited for it all.
Yeah.
As I think that was a really fun, really good first volume. It's turning me into wanting to check out more of the GI Joe stuff. I'm excited to get into more of it, and so might have to end up start picking up monthly once I catch up. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What closing thoughts do you have?
It was really well written. Joshua Williamson did a really good job of the Joes are a true team, and Duke puts a lot of faith and trust, and it's about building that kind of family team unit. If you look at Cobra, there's no trust at all. Cobra Commander's constantly doing stuff. He will sacrifice people left and right. All that matters is that he gets to do what he wants to do. And it's one of the weaknesses and flaws that Cobra always has, and the reason why they always lose to the Joes, because the Joes are talking about just like they're like when he was talking to Duke, it's like you don't create a team of you create a team where you help everyone be the best that they can be individually.
Right.
Cobra is just all about you do as what we say. You're an automaton, very much like a dictatorship, or how you would see it, like, you know, with either like the Nazis or any of those kind of like evil army types, where all of the power and decision making is at the very top. And with G.I. Joe, it's more about individual excellence as well as being a team and being there for each other. And it did a good job of showing that. And it's like, even though they got beat up most of the time through this first volume, you got to see them turn into the G.I. Joe team that they were working to be. And they ended up saving the day at the end by coming together. That great moment where they all like, you know, if I'm going to die, I want to die around you guys. And then they finally did the Yo Joe and the whole deal. So it's a great economy. It shows like Duke is the polar opposite of Cobra Commander. He is head first diving in. He'll take a bullet for anyone on his team.
Oh yeah.
And Cobra would sacrifice anyone on his team in order to make it. Like it wasn't until the very end when he actually let Destro in on Megatron and the other stuff that was going on. The entire time, Destro's kind of left in the dark by this really weird guy with the list, you know, and but yeah, it's interesting. I want to read more. They're doing a really good job with it. Good writing, good art. I enjoyed it overall.
Yeah, I forgot to shout out the artist at the beginning of this. Where I mean, we obviously already mentioned Joshua Williamson wrote it all, but Tom Riley is the artist with Jordi Bellari did the coloring on this, and so I think they did a really good job on the art. And it was a cool mix of like cartoon / comic art together, which is cool. So really well job done. Cannot wait to read more G.I. Joe. Joshua Williamson is I think he's the guy who made me turn me into a G.I. Joe fan at this point, as I'm like I'm in for it. I need more. And so although it does help the Transformers are involved, I won't lie. And so but
they're doing a good job having the Energon be the power source, having the Transformers and the Decepticons being the reason the teams were even brought together. Hell, even Cobra's existence is because of the Energon and the advances they were making of it. So they have a really nicely interconnected universe. And it looks like Volume 2 is going to open up even more now that they actually have an Autobot with them. So that's kind of...
We'll see. I'm excited to see where it all goes. It's going to be awesome. So, yeah. You have anything else, though, before we finish this out?
No, follow me on my YouTube channel. Tomorrow I'll be on the last panel doing a top 10 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Right. And I'm very close to starting the production of my next graphic novel. So I've been doing streams I would have done more this week, but I got sick, so I should be back on schedule
Hopefully.
this weekend and next week. Now that I'm starting to feel a little bit better, so
Nice, awesome stuff. I gotta say, I can't wait for you to get into making your next one because I love your. I see your sketches and stuff that you post of all the characters on. Like that just seems like it's really up my alley of what you're doing with your next story. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. Also,
yeah, I'm excited for that one.
we also got to I should have put it. I don't have it right by me, or else I'll show it. But you sent me Sig and Joe Volume 1, which our next video together will be covering over that. More of sort of my comic creator interview series, be part of that, and then also you'll be one of the first people to have taken a new segment that it just came up with, which I just recorded the first one. So make sure you all check out the Dingus questionnaire is what I call it, and so it'll be fun. The ultimate test of wills, you could call it. Yeah. So it'll be a fun time, and so keep an eye out for that, everybody, as well as more Energon universe stuff, and who knows what else we're going to be getting into because. We'll have to figure that out because it's like Volume 2 I know is out, but then after that it's like I have to wait a little bit till more comes out or something. So
yeah, we might have to find something else to play around with. So
I know. The great thing about the world of comics is there's always too much, so there's never a lack of things to go look at.
Oh, isn't that true?
So, the number one rule of comics is you'll never be able to read anything or everything because there's too much of it. So you just got to focus on what you enjoy most. And so that's what I'm here to do, to talk about the stories that I love and really enjoy reading, such as these Energon universe stories, as they deserve a spotlight. So
definitely.
Good stuff. So, but yes, great having you on. Your links are down below, and go check out Sig and Joe, everybody. But that wraps up this video with the Dingus Den. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Laters, everybody. Bye.